I believe that we can apply this to better our writing, and here's my thoughts on that. This is a little bit of a mystery. If I had to apply one sentence to this short story, it would be the art of toying with your reader. Hey bookworms, so today is Thursday, and this is the reading list for today. If you've been following along, I am attending the School of Ray Bradbury, and I thought it'd be far more interesting to take you along day to day than just at the end of the week, which I'll still be doing, but just a little differently from now on. So today's reading is going to be Charlotte Perkins Gilman from her short fiction here in this book, which is the first one here is The Unexpected. Poetry today, we're going classic, Romeo and Juliet. And then today's essay is going to be out of Aristotle's Politics. I'm going to treat each chapter like an essay. Chapter 1, book 1, is about a page long. So that's what we'll be working with today. We've got our trusty solar system cards as bookmarks. Aristotle gets Saturn. Let's see what Willie gets. Ooh, comets. Alright. And then, of course, Neptune. The Unexpected. I'm gonna go through these, and as I finish each reading assignment, I will check back in here and share some of my thoughts and takeaways, specifically my writing takeaways. Should we start with the poem, a short story, or an essay? That's the question. I say we start philosophical, move into fiction, and then conclude with some Shakespeare, so that my brain's all warmed up. I'm not just jumping right into Shakespeare. Aristotle Politics, Chapter 1, completed. Here are some things I learned and some key writing takeaways that we writers can learn from this short little chapter. So Aristotle talks about this idea of a sharing, a partnership, a community in relation to the polis, and implies that it is to be a shared enterprise undertaken by its citizens. And when you flip to the back of the book and it gives further explanations, there's this great quote in there that explains, "The city has an identity of its own and is not simply a collection of individuals." We're not just sectioned off individual people. We all come together to form the community, and then as a result, the city or polis that we live in takes on its own identity because it's synthesizing all of our individual identities into one big identity that's ideally moving towards a common goal. A key quote from Aristotle in this passage is, "A compound should be analyzed until we reach its simplest elements, or in other words, the smallest parts of the whole which it constitutes," and that's on page 8. I believe that we can apply this to better our writing, and here's my thoughts on that. When we set out to write a short story, an essay, a poem, or even something like a novel, all the small parts that make up the whole of our writing matter. But we must also remember that the novel, poem, short story, or essay that we've written has an identity of its own. So as we toil away at our labors of love, we must also remember to keep a holistic picture of what we're creating. In other words, what message do you want to be delivering while also making sure that all your possessive singular nouns have apostrophe S's? On to Charlotte Perkins Gilman, The Unexpected. Gosh, I wonder what's going to happen. Alright, this was certainly a fun read, and without spoiling much, here are some quick writing takeaways I have written. The Unexpected by Charlotte Perkins Gilman stars Edouard Charpentier. It is 7 1/4 pages long, 4 chapters total, with the 4th being 3 sentences long and landing the final reveal, because this is a little bit of a mystery throughout. I want to keep this brief and not spoil too much for you in case you haven't read it. In case you haven't had the pleasure of reading The Unexpected. If I had to apply one sentence to this short story, it would be, the art of toying with your reader. I bury her in flowers is a great pseudo-foreshadow to backhandedly encourage the reader to expect Mary D. Greenleaf's untimely demise at the hands of Edward Charpentier. And then just really quickly on page 160, I think the repetitive sentence structure used here, Antoine is my dearest friend, I paint with him, and we are happy. Georgette is my dearest model, I paint from her, and we are happy. I think that's a fun writing technique that maybe you'll want to include in future writing. And it doesn't even have to necessarily be that exact sentence structure. Just having back-to-back identical sentence structures can be interesting and fun for the reader. That's just one of the things I picked up on and thought could be helpful in future writing endeavors. So, okay, last but not least, Willie Shakes. The prologue. Enter chorus. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured, piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Chorus exits. And that's the prologue. Tomorrow we read Act 1, Scene 1. And that, my friends, completes today's reading tasks. Hopefully this gave you some writing ideas of your own. I know it certainly has for me, and I'm looking forward to doing the same with you tomorrow. Until then, peace.